Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. And today we're going to be tackling SaaS,
SaaS.
Secure Access Service Edge.
Yes.
It's a very hot topic in network security, and you've given us a YouTube video that really breaks down a leading SaaS solution, which is Palo Alto's Prisma Access. So get ready to kind of unravel how SaaS is really revolutionizing network security, especially as we're in this work from anywhere world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
It's fascinating to see how it's really kind of addressing all the challenges that we're seeing with this new work landscape, because we've all seen how dramatically work patterns have changed and traditional security approaches are really struggling to keep up.
Yeah, I remember when my old company tried to make everyone use VPNs to connect from home.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a total nightmare. Slow connections, dropped calls.
I know.
It felt like I was constantly battling just to get work done.
Yeah, that's a common experience with all these legacy solutions like VPNs and MPLS. They just weren't designed for the scale and complexity of today's distributed workforce. And these limitations translate into real problems for businesses. From security vulnerabilities to decreased productivity and skyrocketing costs.
Okay, so SASE swoops in to save the day, but it's not just a single piece of technology, right?
Yeah.
The video mentions it's more like a framework, like a whole new way of thinking about network security.
Precisely.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like an OSI model.
Okay.
But for security in this cloud-driven work-from-anywhere era.
Right.
So it combines a bunch of key components like SD-WAN for network management, a secure web gateway to filter out threats firewall, as a service CASB for cloud security, and the big one, Zero Trust Network Access, or ZTNA.
ZTNA sounds intense.
Yeah.
Is it as complicated as it sounds?
Well, the concept itself is actually pretty simple.
Okay.
It's all about never trust, always verify.
Okay.
So imagine you're at a high security facility. Even if you have the right badge, you're probably going through multiple checkpoints, scans, verifications.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right. So Zero Trust takes that same approach to network security.
So it's not just about having one big wall around your network. It's about verifying every user and every device every step of the way.
Every step of the way.
Okay.
Every single time.
That sounds like a much more proactive approach than just assuming everything inside the perimeter is safe.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's why ZTNA is so crucial. It's especially crucial when you think about all the devices that are connecting to the network these days. Laptops, smartphones, tablets, IoT sensors.
Oh, my God.
All of it, right? So the attack surface has expanded exponentially.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so where does Palo Alto's Prisma Access fit into all this?
The Prisma Access is Palo Alto's comprehensive SASE platform, and it embodies that zero trust philosophy through its architecture and its features.
Okay.
In fact, the way it implements ZTNA is particularly intriguing through a concept called microsegmentation.
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 We're all ears. Tell me more.
All right, so think of it like this. Instead of granting access to the entire network, Prisma Access divides it up into these tiny, isolated segments. Each user or device only gets access to the specific segments that they need to do their job.
So it's kind of like compartmentalizing a ship.
Yeah.
If one compartment gets breached, the damage is contained and the entire ship doesn't sink.
That's an excellent analogy.
Okay.
So with microsegmentation, if a device is compromised, the attacker is restricted to a very limited area. They can't move laterally through the network and access sensitive data in other segments.
Okay.
So it significantly reduces the blast radius of a potential breach.
That's a huge deal, especially with the rising threat of ransomware and sophisticated cyber attacks.
Huge.
This microsegmentation really sounds like it brings that zero trust concept to life in a practical way.
It does. And this is just one example of how Prisma Access as a complete SASE solution, it goes beyond traditional security measures to address these challenges of this hyper-connected world that we live in.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, SASE isn't just about keeping the bad guys out.
No.
It's also about limiting the damage they can do if they manage to get in.
You got it.
Okay.
And that's a critical shift in mindset. We can't assume that we're going to prevent every single attack.
Right.
So SaaS is about building a more resilient and adaptive security posture
Okay.
that minimizes the impact of inevitable breaches.
It's like accepting that there will be bumps in the road,
Yeah.
but making sure your vehicle is equipped with airbags and seatbelts to protect you when those bumps happen.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's about acknowledging the reality of the threat landscape and building a security strategy that's prepared for the unexpected.
This is really insightful.
Yeah.
I can see why SASE is gaining so much traction.
Yeah.
It seems to address the core challenges of modern network security head on. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves,
Okay.
I think we need to unpack exactly how Prisma Access works.
You're right. Let's delve into the architecture and see how these different SaaS components come together in practice.
Perfect. Let's dive in.
Okay, so let's peel back the layers of Prisma Access a little bit and see how it actually works.
Okay.
So remember those processing nodes that we mentioned?
Yeah.
Those are key to understanding how Prisma Access secures all these different connections.
Right.
It's not just one big security blanket. It's more like specialized security checkpoints
Okay.
throughout the network.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we talked about mobile user SPNs, remote network SPNs, and service connection SPNs.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm still a bit fuzzy on what each of those does.
Yeah, say me too.
Can you break it down for me?
For sure.
Okay, so let's start with those mobile user SPNs,
Okay.
or MUSPNs for short.
Okay.
These are all about securing your remote workers.
Got it.
So imagine someone working from a coffee shop.
Mm-hmm.
Their laptop connects to the nearest MUSPN,
Okay.
and it creates this secure tunnel.
Okay.
All of their internet activity is encrypted and protected.
So like a VPN?
Kind of like a VPN,
Okay.
but way more sophisticated.
Okay, so instead of all that traffic going back and forth to a central office,
Right.
it's being handled by these Prisma Access nodes that are scattered all over the world.
Exactly.
That seems a lot more efficient.
It is.
Yeah.
It's about bringing security closer to the user wherever they are,
Right.
which is, a core principle of SaaS.
Right.
Now think about a branch office
Okay.
with a whole team working there.
Mm-hmm.
That's where those remote network SPNs or RNSPNs come in.
So instead of each person connecting individually,
Right.
the entire branch office connects through one of these RNSPNs.
You got it.
Okay.
It's like a secure gateway for that whole office.
Okay.
So the RNSPN makes sure that all the traffic coming from that branch is inspected and filtered according to the company's security rules.
So it's consistent security no matter where your teams are located.
Exactly.
Okay, that's pretty slick.
Yeah.
But what about all the applications and data that people need to access?
Right.
That's where those service connection SPNs come in.
You're on a roll.
Okay.
All right, so service connection SPNs or SCSPNs.
Okay.
These are the bridge between your users and the stuff they need to access, whether it's in the cloud, a data center, or somewhere else entirely.
Okay.
So they act as these secure intermediaries,
Okay.
enforcing policies, controlling access every step of the way.
So it's like having a super smart traffic cop
Yeah.
directing all this data to the right place and making sure no one's taking a wrong turn or sneaking down a back alley.
Love that analogy.
Okay.
And the coolest part is that Prisma Access automatically figures out the best SCSPN to use based on all sorts of factors: location, the type of application, even how sensitive the data is.
Oh, wow.
It's like GPS for your data, but with security built right in.
This is all starting to click now.
Good.
It's like Prisma Access is this giant intelligent switchboard in the cloud, making sure everything is flowing smoothly and securely.
Yeah.
But what about the user experience? Is this going to be a headache for people who are used to just connecting to the network without thinking about it?
That's a great question. And user experience is a huge priority with Prisma Access.
Okay.
So Palo Alto, they have this client software called Global Protect
Okay.
that users install, and it handles all the secure connections behind the scenes.
Okay.
Once it's set up, people usually don't even notice anything different.
So no more wrestling with VPN settings or calling IT every 5 minutes because something's not working.
Exactly.
That's a win for everyone.
Right. That ease of use is a big reason why SaaS is becoming so popular.
Makes sense.
Yeah. It solves real problems without adding a bunch of extra complexity
Right.
for users or IT teams.
Okay, this is all making sense, but I want to loop back to that zero trust concept for a second.
Okay.
We've talked about it in theory. How does Prisma Access actually put it into practice?
Well, it all comes down to verifying identity and granting access on a need-to-know basis.
Okay.
Remember that micro-segmentation we talked about?
Right, the idea of dividing the network into those little isolated compartments.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
So even if someone manages to get past those initial security checks and connect to the network, they're still restricted to a very limited area.
Okay.
They can't just roam around and access anything they want.
So it's like having different levels of security clearance.
Right.
Even if you have a badge to get into the building, you might not have access to the top secret lab.
That's a great way to think about it.
Okay.
And Prisma Access can enforce all sorts of policies based on user identity, the device they're using, their location, even the time of day.
Wow.
It's all about granting the least amount of access necessary
Okay.
to get the job done.
So if I'm working from home
Right.
and I only need access to certain files and applications, Prisma Access would make sure I can only see and use those specific things, nothing more.
Precisely.
Okay.
And the cool thing is that these policies can be customized for different groups or even individual users.
Wow.
So you can have very granular control over who can access what based on their role location or whatever makes sense for your organization.
That level of control sounds incredibly powerful.
It is.
It's like having a security guard for every single piece of data in your network.
Pretty much.
But wouldn't that be a nightmare to manage?
Well, that's the beauty of Prisma Access.
Okay.
While it offers all this granular control, it's designed to be managed centrally.
Oh, okay.
You're not configuring individual firewalls or security settings on every device.
Got it.
Everything is streamlined and integrated.
So it's not just about being more secure, it's also about making security management more efficient.
Exactly.
And less of a headache for IT teams.
Less of a headache for sure.
Okay, I'm getting the sense that Prisma Access is a pretty sophisticated solution.
It is.
What would you say are the biggest reasons someone might choose it over other SASE options?
Well, first off, Palo Alto is a leader in the security space.
Right.
They have a long history of building robust and reliable solutions. So Prisma Access isn't some experimental technology.
Right.
It's a mature platform that's been deployed by tons of organizations worldwide.
So you're not just taking a gamble on a startup. You're going with a company that has a proven track record.
Right.
That peace of mind is probably worth a lot in the security world.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that experience is reflected in the features and capabilities of Prisma Access. It's incredibly comprehensive.
Okay.
Able to handle a huge range of security challenges. You know, malware phishing, data leaks, unauthorized access, you name it.
It sounds like the Swiss Army knife of network security.
That's one way to put it.
Okay.
And another big selling point is that it's cloud native.
Okay.
Which means it plays nicely with all the other cloud services and platforms that businesses rely on today. So if your organization is all in on the cloud, that integration is a game changer.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, so it's comprehensive, mature, feature-rich cloud native. What's the catch?
Well, of course, you know, it's important to be realistic.
Yeah.
Any major shift in your security architecture, like moving to SaaS, requires careful planning.
Okay.
It's not a flip a switch kind of solution.
So you can't just buy a box, plug it in, expect everything to be magically secure overnight.
Exactly.
You actually need to think things through.
Yeah, you need to really assess your needs. Your security goals, your existing infrastructure before you jump in. And you need the right expertise on board, either in-house or through partners, to implement and manage a SaaS solution effectively.
It's like buying a high-performance race car.
Yeah.
You wouldn't just hop in and expect to win a race without any training or experience.
Perfect analogy.
Okay.
And another thing to keep in mind is that SaaS is still evolving. So what's considered cutting edge today might be commonplace tomorrow. So it's not just about making a one-time decision. It's about staying informed and being willing to adapt as the technology changes.
Yeah.
Sounds like a continuous learning process.
It is, but that's also what makes it so exciting.
Yeah.
You know, we're at the forefront of a major shift in how we approach network security. And there's so much opportunity for learning and growth.
All right, before we get too lost in the techie details, I want to bring it back to our listener for a moment, who is SASE. And specifically Prisma Access, really designed for what kind of organizations would benefit the most?
Well, the beauty of SASE is that it's relevant to a wide range of organizations, from small businesses to giant enterprises. Anyone who is struggling with these challenges of a distributed workforce, cloud adoption, or those ever-evolving security threats, they can benefit from a SASE approach.
So if you've got remote workers, branch offices, cloud applications, or if you just have that nagging feeling that your current security strategy is falling behind, SaaS might be worth a serious look.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And Prisma Access, with all of its comprehensive features, its scalability that focus on ease of management, it's a strong contender in this space.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
From the why of SaaS to the nuts and bolts of Prisma Access. Before we move on, what's the key takeaway you want our listener to walk away with from this segment?
Well, the key takeaway is that SaaS is more than just a buzzword.
Okay.
It's a fundamental shift in how we approach security in this new world of work. And Palo Alto's Prisma Access, it's a powerful, mature, and feature-rich platform that can help organizations make that transition successfully.
Right. We've laid the groundwork. We've explored the world of SaaS and Prisma Access, but I feel like there's still more to uncover. We need to delve deeper into the specific benefits, the potential challenges, and what this all means for our listener going forward. So let's shift gears and tackle those next.
All right, let's do it.
You know, as we've been talking about SASE and Prisma Access, it struck me that we haven't really touched on how this all plays with cloud applications. These days, it's not just about securing our laptops and our office networks. It's about protecting our data wherever it lives. And more of that data is ending up in the cloud.
That's a great point. And you're right. We can't ignore the cloud. It's not just where we store data anymore. It's where we run entire businesses these days. You think about all the SaaS applications that companies rely on today. Salesforce, Dropbox, Office, 365, the list goes on and on.
And each one of those apps represents a potential entry point for attackers. It feels like trying to secure a house with 100 doors and windows.
Exactly. And traditional security approaches like backhauling all that cloud traffic through a central data center just doesn't cut it anymore.
It seems so inefficient.
It creates bottlenecks, it slows everything down, and honestly, it's not even that effective in today's threat landscape.
So how does Prisma Access handle this whole cloud security conundrum?
Remember those service connection SPNs we talked about?
Yeah, the SCSPNs?
Those are crucial for securing cloud access. So Prisma Access can inspect traffic flowing to and from cloud applications, enforce security policies, and even prevent sensitive data from leaking out.
So it's like having a security checkpoint at the entrance to every cloud app you use.
You got it. Yeah, it's really about bringing that security right to the doorstep of those cloud applications.
I'm starting to see how this all fits together. It's not just about securing the network perimeter anymore. It's about securing every connection, every application, every piece of data.
That's the beauty of SaaS. It's a holistic approach to security that aligns with how businesses operate today. And Prisma Access being cloud native, it integrates seamlessly with all the major cloud platforms, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, so you can manage security consistently across your entire cloud environment.
So no more trying to cobble together a bunch of different security solutions for each cloud provider you use.
Exactly.
That simplifies things immensely.
It does, and that simplification is a huge benefit of SaaS. It's about reducing complexity, improving efficiency, strengthening your overall security posture without creating more headaches for your IT team.
Okay, let's be real for a minute. Implementing a solution like Prisma Access is an investment. How do you justify that cost to the folks holding the purse strings?
Well, it's all about looking at the bigger picture. The cost of a data breach or a major security incident can be astronomical. Far exceeding the cost of a robust security solution like Prisma Access.
It's like they say an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Exactly. And you also have to factor in the potential cost savings from simplifying your network architecture. You might be paying for a single comprehensive SaaS solution. But you could be saving money in the long run by ditching all those separate VPNs, firewalls, web filters.
It's not just about avoiding a disaster. It's about streamlining operations and making things run more smoothly.
Precisely. And those cost savings can extend beyond just the IT budget. Improved performance and reliability can boost productivity and reduce downtime, which benefits the entire organization.
So it's not just a line item on a spreadsheet. It's a strategic investment that can have a real impact on the bottom line.
It is. It's a business enabler.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, let's say our listener is intrigued by SaaS and wants to explore it further. What are some key questions they should be asking themselves?
Well, the first question is, what are my biggest security concerns? Are they struggling with managing a remote workforce, securing cloud applications, or just keeping up with the constantly evolving threat landscape?
Basically, if they're feeling like their current security approach is stretched thin or not quite cutting it anymore, it's probably a good sign to start looking at SaaS.
Absolutely. They should also think about their long-term goals and strategy. Is their organization moving more towards cloud-based applications and services? Are they embracing a more flexible work model?
Right.
SaaS is designed for that future.
It's built for the world we're living in today, not the world we used to live in.
Exactly. And if that's the direction your organization is headed, investing in a SaaS solution like Prisma Access can help you build a more secure and resilient foundation for the future.
So we've covered the why of SaaS, we've explored Prisma Access in detail, and we've even talked about the business case as we wrap up this deep dive. What's the final takeaway you want our listener to ponder?
The most important thing to remember is that the world of work is changing, and security challenges are evolving right alongside it. SaaS is a response to those changes. A new way of thinking about security that's more flexible, more cloud-centric, and more focused on controlling who accesses what.
It's not about building bigger walls or throwing more gadgets at the problem. It's about adapting to the new reality and adopting a more strategic and comprehensive approach.
Exactly. And while Prisma Access is just one example of a SASE solution, it's a powerful and mature platform that can help organizations of all sizes navigate this new landscape successfully.
Well, there you have it. A deep dive into the world of SASE and Palo Alto's Prisma Access. We've explored the technical details, the business benefits, and hopefully given you some food for thought as you continue your exploration of SaaS. Remember to stay curious, keep asking questions, and don't be afraid to challenge the status quo. The future of work demands a new approach to security, and SASE might just be the answer you're looking for. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you found it informative and engaging. Until next time, happy exploring.